There's 10 deaths and 1,093 new cases of COVID-19 in the Sultanate. As a catastrophic surge of the coronavirus sweeps through India, 24 COVID-19 patients died at a government-run hospital in the southern state of Karnataka amid reports of an oxygen shortage. And Britain hosts the first G7 foreign ministers meeting since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Ministry of Health registered 10 deaths and 1,093 new cases of COVID-19. It also registered 1,219 recovered cases. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the Sultanate reached 196,900. The total number of deaths reached 2,053. The total recovered cases reached 178,052. The minister indicated that the total number of inpatients during 24 hours reached 90, bringing the total number to 816, among which 285 are in the intensive care units. The entire world is witnessing health crises that stop various activities such as education, tourism, and businesses. However, healthcare workers are there in the middle of the storm, facing this pandemic non-stop with consistency of focus in order to stop it. More details in the following report by Sultan bin Sarai.
All educational institutions such as schools and universities are closed and working online. People stopped attending to workplaces. Markets have closed and countries around the world are applying curfew. But there are some people have left their families, sacrificed their lives, and ignored the psychological effects of this pandemic.
Now all hospital, I think, has many patients, and the COVID ward and the COVID ICU are full of many patients. And we should all work that to decrease number of COVID patients so that our health system can face this problem easily, because we are afraid that if number increase, it can be more than the capacity of our system to face.
They have considered the face mask and the gown as their shield. They are the unknown warriors which have been in the middle of the battle from the beginning. Tough mission with very long working hours, which sometimes stop them from contacting with their families because they are in direct contact with COVID-19 patients.
Who are dealing in suffering patients who suffer from breathing problem and cardiopulmonary to obtain the COVID-19. We are also dealing in mechanical ventilator and assisting doctors in proning and supining the patient.
The situation might be the toughest in the professional life of many doctors and nurses, and maybe in the medical field history around the world. So thank you to all our heroes in the medical field. As we can see, the medical's cadre life is endangered because they are dealing with the pandemic every single day. However, they're still doing their noble work with highest loyalty. So let's all stand with them to face this situation by following the necessary precautions and listening to their advices. Sultan bin Sarai from South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate, Wilaya of Sur.
On the advent of the blessed Eid al-Fitr, the Ministry of Labour decided that Eid leave for employees at states' administrative apparatus and workers at the private sector establishments will start from Wednesday 29th of Ramadan 1442 Hijrah, corresponding to 12th of May 2021, and the leave will end as follows. If the first day of the Eid falls on Thursday, 13th of May 2021, the leave ends on Saturday, 15th of May 2021, and the work will resume on Sunday, 16th of May 2021. If the first day of the Eid falls on Friday, 14th of May 2021, the leave ends on Monday, 17th of May 2021, and the work will resume on Tuesday, 18th of May 2021. The decision allows employers and employees to compensate this leave if work necessity arises, and employees whose weekly off coincides with the leave must be compensated. The General Commission of the Sultan's Pavilion in Dubai Expo 2020 got acquainted with the latest developments and preparations related to the work progress in the Omani Pavilion. This comes within the existing coordination with the bodies concerned and ongoing preparations for the Sultan's participation in the Expo, which starts on the 1st of October this year and continues until 31st of March 2022. His Excellency Mohsin bin Khamis al-Blushi, Commissioner General of the Sultan Dubai Expo 2020, affirmed that 89% of the Omani Pavilion work has been completed. The number of landed fish in the Sultan has risen by 31% compared to 2020. Typically, three types of fish are caught, such as artisanal, coastal, and commercial. The National Center for Statistics and Information has released statistics of the sum of the value of artisanal fishing, which has witnessed an increase by more than 27% to reach at an estimated value of 77,000 Omani riyals by the end of February 2021, whereas it was around 60,000 Omani riyals in 2020. Al-Wusta Governorate led the Sultanate in terms of artisanal fishing by the end of February 2021, followed by South Al-Sharqiyya and the Dhafar Governorates, respectively. Oman oil price July 2021 delivery reached $64.48 per barrel, decreasing by 78 cents. The average price of the Oman crude oil May 2021 delivery reached $64.43 per barrel, thus $3.58 higher than price of April 2021 delivery. To come on news bulletin. Sweet juice is often a staple on dining tables in the Muslim fasting month of Ramadan in Egypt. Welcome back to news from the Sultanate Oman Television. Israeli settlers attacked a Palestinian village in the occupied West Bank overnight, setting brush fires and hurling stones. Palestinian officials and an Israeli rights group said today that appeared to be a revenge attack after 3 Israelis were wounded in a drive-by shooting at a nearby traffic junction yesterday. The Israeli human rights group B'Tselem said dozens of settlers attacked the village of Jalud. It circulated videos showing the fires with people shouting in the background. Israeli security forces arrested 11 Palestinians and 4 people were wounded by rubber bullets. Radical Israeli settlers have been known to carry out so-called price tag attacks on Palestinian communities in response to violence or perceived Israeli plans to restrict settlement activity. Israel captured the West Bank in the 1967 war, and the Palestinians wanted to form the main part of the future state Nearly 500,000 Israeli settlers live in more than 100 settlements scattered across the West Bank, which is home to some 2.5 million Palestinians. As a catastrophic surge of the coronavirus sweeps through India, the leaders of 13 opposition parties urged the government to launch a free vaccination drive and ensure an uninterrupted flow of oxygen to all hospitals. Several hospital authorities sought court intervention over the weekend to provide oxygen supplies in New Delhi, where the lockdown has been extended by a week in an attempt to contain the wave of infections. The New Delhi court said it would start punishing government officials if supplies of oxygen allocated to hospitals are not delivered. India reported 368,147 new coronavirus cases and 3,417 deaths today. Today, 24 COVID-19 patients died at a government-run hospital in the southern state of Karnataka amid reports of an oxygen shortage. Meanwhile, in Thailand today reported a new daily record of 31 coronavirus deaths as the Southeast Asian country grapples with the third wave of infections. The new outbreak, which includes the highly transmitted B117 variant, first detected in Britain, has accounted for more than half of the total cases and deaths since the start of the pandemic. Foreign ministers of the G7 nations and others invited guests began to meet in London today ahead of the first in-person gathering since the COVID-19 pandemic began. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who arrived yesterday, met with his British counterpart Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab today after earlier bilateral discussions with the ministers of both Japan and South Korea. The week is billed by Britain, which holds the group's rotating presidency, as a chance to reassert the West's influence and address issues such as coronavirus recovery, climate change, and how to deal with China and Russia. The ministers will lay groundwork for U.S. President Joe Biden's first scheduled trip abroad since taking office, a G7 summit in Britain next month, meant to revive cooperation with traditional allies after years of friction under Donald Trump.
Xinjiang. Obviously, we're going to be very clear on our plan.
At least 26 people were killed when a speedboat packed with passengers collided with a vessel transporting sand today in the latest maritime disaster to hit Bangladesh. Police say the speedboat carrying about 36 passengers from the town of Mawa rammed into the other vessel in the Padma River as it's near the main river station in the central rural town of Shibchar. The passenger boat was destroyed when the speedboat smashed into the side of the transport vessel, sinking it into the river in minutes. Witnesses say they found the speedboat torn into two pieces, and hundreds of villagers immediately started conducting rescue work before they were joined by police and fire brigade. Bangladesh is building the country's largest road and railway bridge near the accident spot. Construction work has slowed ferry transport on the river, prompting many to take the journey on less safe speedboats, which take only about 15 minutes to make the crossing, in a contrast to up to 2 hours on safer ferries. And finally, customers at Egypt's Jewish shops come thirsty and eager to make their pick from an assortment of colorful options during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Pitchers filled with juice often sit on the dining tables at iftar in the first meal of the day. For some Egyptians, the most important flavors during Ramadan come from the sweet Jewish varieties served alongside meals. At sunset, when they can finally eat and drink, many look forward to sipping down on the sweet drink next to their food. Favorite Jewish options in Ramadan include tamarind, hibiscus, and apricot juice. Business is looking better for juice shops in Egypt this year compared to last A curfew last year limited the hours the juice shops can open, affecting sales. Another factor that drives sales up is the weather, and juice shops in Egypt thrive on hotter days. From the pale colored sorbet or coconut milk to the brighter colored freshly squeezed fruit juices, the refreshing drinks offer Egyptians some respite during the heat. This is the Sultan of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Health announces 10 deaths and 1,093 new cases of COVID-19 in the Sultanate. As a catastrophic surge of the coronavirus sweeps through India, 24 COVID-19 patients died at a government-run hospital in the southern state of Karnataka amid reports of an oxygen shortage. And Britain hosts the first G7 foreign ministers meeting since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, good night.